Yes, you. Go for it. Is it more of a comment than a question?
No, more question.
Okay.
Why bring this film specifically to like here, like Oakland /
Because my brother is my intern. He's graduating from OU this semester. My sister also went to OU. She graduated last semester. And so part of it was just, I know that, I mean, you guys know there's this Michigan Film Incentive going on. A lot of movies are filming here. I'm bringing a bunch of movies here that I'm going to be working on and making. And it was really, just wanted to give back. Because, you know, school was really good to my brother and my sister, and I know that the school's trying to develop a production program, so I had some meetings, and I said, what do you guys want me to do? So this is what I did. I happen to have a movie that, you know, it's coming out soon, and it was a way, it's basically using it as a case study. That's why we did this workshop around it too. It was really not so much about horror movies or this horror movie. Fortunately, I had a movie that was going to come out, but it was really about trying to educate you guys. For those of you who weren't at the workshop, we had a workshop for about 3 weeks where I had like my head producer, my director of photography, my production designer, my editor, my star actress, about 10 different people through Skype, through video conference from LA, and basically over the last 3 weeks, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about movies. How do you get into movies? How do you work in movies? And trying to let you guys know that there's, you know, everybody wants to write and direct, and that's great, and it's great if you can actually do it. But at the same time, there's also other incredible jobs around making movies. You know, every team member is incredibly important, from the costume designer to the editor to the writer. So that's what we also did over the last month. So that's why I just did this here at OU. Yes?
Was the film shot in LA or in Michigan?
No, the film was shot right on the California-Oregon border,
Okay.
in a place called Wairika, and actually that college, that's a real community college on the mountain in the area. It's called Mount Shasta, and that little town where the college is, it's actually named Weed. So I thought it was fun. But yeah, Weed, Wairika, in Montague, California. It's about 20 minutes away from Oregon. It's the middle of absolutely nowhere. So that's where we shot. And we shot it there because the writer and my co-director, Jonas, that's his mom's ranch. So that house is his mom's farmhouse. That barn is his mom's barn. And real quick, the story behind it, because most of you here you weren't in the workshop, right? You were. You were here sometimes. So anyway, my friend Jonas and I, we had written a script together a while before. He works for one of the biggest producers in Hollywood. The guy's name is Neil Moritz, at a company called Original Film. And they did all the Fast and Furious movies and like Sweet Home Alabama. And I mean, every year they do like a $100 million movie. So that's his day job. He works for that guy. And we wrote a script together a few years before to try to sell to that guy. It was a big action movie, but the guy didn't buy it. So anyway, about 5 months before we made this, I went to a friend's party at a bar in Hollywood. Jonas was there, and we started talking. And you know, he works with this guy on really big movies, but he knew that my company, we were doing a bunch of independent films. And he said, I'm thinking of making this little horror movie. I'm thinking, he actually thought he was going to quit his job, take his savings, and make a short film, like a 15-minute short with this concept. And I said to him, well, look, we're thinking of making a horror movie. Why don't you tell me what it's about? And he said the title. He said it's Babysitter Wanted. And he basically said it's about a girl who gets a job babysitting on a rural farm, and in the middle of the movie she finds out she's babysitting the devil. And at that point in time, maybe, I don't know if I had a drink in me or something, but I said, I love that. And I literally said to him, we're going to make this movie. And that night, I called my partner, Kimberly, and I spoke to her, and she responded the same way. And the next week, we had Jonas in to pitch us the whole movie, and we bought the pitch, and we said, okay, go write it. He wrote it in 6 weeks, and we had the movie financed a month later. So it happened, that process went pretty fast. But but he said to me, that's, I'm thinking of going up to my mom's ranch to do this, because that's where he got the idea. He was up there, like the first time he went up there after they bought the place, and he saw on the news there was like a terrible murder in Indiana in this family, and then he went to bed, and like he was the only one in the house, and he woke up around 1 o'clock in the morning, and he's 6'8", he's a big guy, and he said he was terrified, and he just started thinking, all right, so what if I was just a teenage girl, and that's where he got the idea. So we went up there after he wrote the script, and we had the money, and we were going to make it, and he and I went up there to scout, and the production designer at the workshop yesterday told the story of that house, all the inside of that house, we completely redid all of it. When we got up there the first time, it had just been renovated, all the walls were super white, and you never want to, on movies, you don't want to shoot white walls, it's boring, it's ugly, and so we had to have a discussion with his mom and his stepdad and said, look, do you really want us to do this? Because we have to change absolutely everything. And she said, as long as you put it back together the same way, yeah, then I'll let you do it. And the lesson from that is never ever shoot your movie in a relative's house. Because, it was great, we put it back together, but once she realized, she went crazy. Every day, my poor friend Jonas had to deal with his mom, and she was losing her mind. So that was tough, but it worked out.